All right, and we are live. What's up, everyone? I am here today with my coach, my mentor, my spirit animal, Mr. John Kitchens of NAEA. What's up, brother? Thanks for taking time out of your day to join me here.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you making this happen, and I know we both got pretty ridiculous schedules, so putting it together. Appreciate having me on.
Yeah, so I've been coaching with John now for the last couple of years. Man, what's it like coaching me? Is it pretty easy? I mean, I don't think I bother you too much on the off time, so can't be too bad, right?
No, man. What I love and appreciate is coming in and no nonsense, right? If you didn't get something that you said you were going to do, I mean, you own it right away, right from jump. And if you got questions, right to the point, you come in, good update, knowing where things are at. And, we quickly kind of dive in to where the problem is and we get to solving it and some good, solid action items coming out of there. And we're off and running, man. We're making progress each and every week. And I think, just who you are at your core and it's just that constant action, that constant improvement. And man, it's pretty damn cool to see. And and the cool thing is that this is what we always tell the team when we're looking for issues and choke points. Man, if you're moving fast and doing stuff, things are going to break, right? You're going to mess stuff up. You're going to have issues. You're going to try to solve it the best that you can, but at least things are going to be an issue. Things are going to be falling apart, and that's just a good indication that you're getting things done.
Right. So there's beauty in chaos because you're probably making some progress.
Yeah.
Hey, John, give us, for people who don't know who you are, give us some background. Where are you from? How did you grow up in the real estate business? What were some of the challenges you faced? Because you've been in it for a while. You've been through the crash. You're still in the game, so you're a survivor. Tell us a little bit of background about where you came from, what you're doing now.
Yeah, man. Lawton, Oklahoma. Born, raised. Spent about 3 years out, past your neck of the woods there. In you have folks, you have people in Hollister, California, and that's where that was kind of my schooling, if you will. Was out there at Ridgemark Golf and Country Club and spent 3.5 years out there. Lived with my aunt and had an amazing. Just been really fortunate. My first boss, and then a few other people I worked with. But when I moved out there, the head pro there that hired me, I mean, she really took me under her wing, and that became my schooling. She taught me the ins and outs. I mean, it's a semi-private golf and a country club, and so you have all the dynamics of food and beverage. You've got lodging, so the restaurant business. So she made it a point to make sure that I understood every facet of the business, and that was really impactful on just understanding all the moving parts within an organization, right? Within any type of business environment, and the different personalities that align to each. The guy working in the kitchen is going to be a little bit different than the guy working over in the hotel side of things, right? So it was just really cool to have that schooling, and then moved back home, back to Oklahoma, and just a little after 2000, and kicked it around with a couple buddies of mine, just kind of some serial entrepreneurs. And they had this they like to take some business. They would take some business ideas and make a business out of it and get them profitable and then flip them. I think we flipped 3 or 4 businesses in the time that I was I was working with them. And man, the last idea was not a good idea. The last idea was we need to own a bar, and that was about one of the dumbest and worst decisions ever. So if anybody listening in, you think you want to buy and own a bar, let's have a conversation first. And that was 2004, and I was out. And Michael Reese, for those of you guys listening that know Michael, we go back to junior high school days. We played golf together, and he's the connector. He connected Kinder and I together. We got together in October of 2004, and 2 weeks later, I was working full time with him. So, that was kind of the backstory. But fast forward through that up to today, I started. The guys started coaching Kinder Reese coaching organization back in 2008, 2009 timeframe, and the coaching organization obviously is still going. And I started coaching for the guys back in 2012, and 9th year of coaching for the guys, and 10,000 plus one-on-one coaching sessions, 6,000 plus hours of one-on-one time on the phone. And so really, for me, it's a full transition, really been full throttle on the coaching side for the last couple of years. And man, love it. I love it. I absolutely love, jumping in and coaching and working with folks just like you.
Yeah. Hey, John, you're being super humble, man. And of course, we always appreciate that. But, I just want to really give you some validity. You're working with Jay Kinder. And I mean, you guys put up some serious numbers in a really, really small town. So, yeah. I mean, just cutting through all the bullshit. I mean, you guys were out there doing what, 300, 400, 500 transactions a year. And yeah. you guys were running the show out there. Tell me about that. You're in a small town, Lawton, Oklahoma. I don't even know where the hell that is. I don't think most people do, but it's a small town, and you guys are a powerhouse real estate team, and you are running this real estate show. I mean, tell me about that. How do you get up to that kind of volume, 400 or 500 transactions in a small town like Lawton, Oklahoma?
Lawton, Oklahoma, man. About at the time, I think it's a little bit bigger now. The whole county at the time was about 100,000 population. Military town. So, that was one, positive and also one threat, right? Because you never knew, being an Army training installation, you never know, right? Whoever's, in charge at the White House is going to kind of dictate what's going on with the military. And so, riding that wave, I mean, that was one saving grace that helped us through, the 07, 08 type of market. But, we total just on average about 3,000 total transactions in the market every year. And, when I came on board with Kinder in 2004, we closed out the year doing about 340. And then next year we did 430 and then 531. And then, the whole transition, everything goes down. Coming back, 2010, 2011 timeframe, we were trying to pull Kinder out of the business and really starting to understand the business model and really focused on profitability. And we got it really dialed in the 11, 12, 13 timeframe. And we were making more money. We were more profitable in that stretch, doing about 280, 300 transactions a year, about 10, 11, 12% market share year over year. And, than we were when we did, 430 and 521 transactions, right? Because we didn't understand all of the dynamics that we had to go through, the bumps and bruises to figure out. But to get to that point, it took a little bit of time, and it took, the consistency and the hard work. And it's one of the things that I appreciate about you, not afraid to jump in and get after it. And so Kinder was the same way. And he just really, really leveraged himself to the fullest of extents, right? I mean, he had 3 admin before he hired his first buyer's agent. So understanding that concept of leverage and then being able to focus on that moving throughout his career. But where you bring a guy like me in at that time is to help, keep the train on the tracks, right? When I got with him, I mean, it was a shit show. So being able to have that, and we, the same concept went with the brokerage here in Dallas. I mean, it was part of the reason why in 2014, we moved from Lawton down here to Dallas. Finally made the move. Kinder had been here since about 2011, 2012 full time, and so we made the move down in 2014, and we started the brokerage down in Dallas. And it was really kind of what we were doing is experimenting on some concepts and some models, and it was a shit show. It was a shit show. And, I mean, anytime that you ramp from, a couple 100,000 in revenue to 2.2 million in revenue in about a 13, 14 month period, it is going to get out of control. And so that's where, my value coming in at that point too was stabilize the ship, man. Put some structure in place. What's the meeting rhythm? How are we communicating, right? How are we acknowledging our people? Just the fundamentals that you have to be able to run an organization to grow to where it's not utter chaos and everything's on fire. So, man, it's some consistency. It's focusing on the brand. That's what I would say is really what propelled us in the Lawton in the smaller market. It is a small market. And, we were really, really intentional about building relationships and getting plugged into the community at such a high level. And then, man, just the power of word of mouth. Even back then, it was, really focusing in on, making sure that we were going above and beyond with our clients and focused, Dan, what it was, man, it was focused on lifetime value, right? At the time we believed that we were going to be in the marketplace forever. And so we understood the concept of, people that you do right, they're going to send you deals and they're going to refer people to you. So we really focused on lifetime value and just didn't get hung up on the one, singular transaction.
Right. I mean, yeah, you guys built an unbelievable machine out there in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I just want people to understand this. You just mentioned a number that I don't think most people can understand. And you guys had 10% market share in a small town of 100,000 people. I mean, there are brokerages here in the Reno area that are fighting for 3 to 4% market share. And you are just a real estate team with 10% market share in a marketplace. I mean, those kinds of numbers are amazing. And so moving on, I just want to talk about, who you're in contact with in coaching. We do a lot of events that I attend of your guys's, when we went to Key West, which was awesome. You're the average person that's paying attention to your methods and your systems. I mean, you're coaching typically $1 million producers, $1 million GCI producers, right?
Right.
And I want people to kind of get a feel for you because a lot of people don't know who you are. NAEA, I've kind of kept you guys secret out here in the Reno. I don't want too many people finding out who you are.
Right.
No, but seriously, how I got in contact with you guys is I got caught in a Michael Reese funnel. And if you haven't been caught in a Michael Reese funnel, it's one of two things. You're either not in real estate or you're not on Facebook. I mean, one of the two, right? So I get caught in a Michael Reese funnel for the Inside Sales Predictability book that led me to the ISA boot camp that you guys put on. Yep. And at the time in 2016, it was being advertised, I believe. It was $10,000 to attend the program. Yeah. And so I saw this program that you guys put on, and I'm like, well, man, if this program's $10,000, these fucking guys know something. Like they got to know something. Yeah. Why they're putting on a program for $10,000 on Facebook and think people are going to attend. And to be honest with you, that's the only reason I attended. I'm like, this is 10K. Yeah. I want to know what 10K. Yeah. I was there. I signed up, and I got hooked up and went out there. I think Wally got me on the phone, and then I met all of you guys there. And it was Kiani who was teaching the program.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, you're coaching $1 million producers, but you guys also do these programs for, boot camps and getting people who are just getting started in the business and getting them up to speed. Like, really talk about those kinds of coaching programs that you guys put on, because they are super valuable. And I had already been on the phone for years, right? At that time, I had already been doing the expireds and the FSBOs at a pretty decent level. And then I got hooked up with Kiani, and it just took my game to the next level on the telephones. That was far beyond, what I even thought was possible. Talk about what other programs you guys are doing for people who are thinking about coaching or maybe need a kickstart to their business on what you guys offer.
Yeah, man. You came into the time, when that machine was humming, that was, we relocated out. We even deeper down into Dallas to run through that. And what's cool, man, is that, Kiani was at that point. Jeff came to us as he applied for an ISA position, and, going through the interview process, Wally was helping us out at that time. And he's like, dude, you're overqualified. And that's the first thing he came and told me. He's like, hey, we got this guy, he's a rockstar hire. I want to make the hire, but dude is overqualified. I was like, I mean, does he want it? And he's like, yeah. I was like, shit, yeah, hire him. And next thing you know, he's working his way and he ends up running the call center, and here he is providing the training. And now he's over sales and marketing for Kinder Reese Coaching. I mean, it's just, you never know when it comes to, always being on the lookout for talent. From a coaching program standpoint, right now we've kind of transitioned, like you said, it's events and then a couple different levels of coaching. And, from an event perspective, the one staple event that we've done consistently over the last 8-9 years is our Expert Advisor Boot Camp. 3 days, deep dive on getting your mind right, and then, start to finish on the listing process, and then start to finish on the buying process. So it's right things, right order. It's having an understanding of that linear path that you go to from the moment an opportunity comes in to what do you say, how do you set the appointment, how do you go through the whole process of face-to-face, of presentation mastery to be able to deliver that to the proper way to deliver the paperwork. And it's just an immersion, right? It's a deep dive. We do that into, a three-day process. It's a lot of hands-on. It's a lot of interactive. It's a lot of marbles out of your mouth type of an event. And then, obviously there's the ongoing, training. And I mean, shoot, to be honest with you, I mean, we put out, our goal is to try to put out some type of value-added content every day, if not, several times a day. And we have so much stuff that we've done over the years and so much that we can just give back that, that's really where it starts, right? Is the content and everything that's out there. The events coming to, we also do another higher level event called Agent to CEO. And that's really a 2-day deep dive of a lot of the things that you and I work with business-wise, right? Strategy, planning, hiring, being really more strategic, meeting rhythm. And, we just started that event. We did one last year, and honestly, we were just going to do one and done, but we had such a great feedback that we're actually doing 2 of those events this year. And then obviously, like you had mentioned, our mastermind event, previously, those were for members only that were paying us $25,000 a year to come to those events. We've changed up the dynamics to get in the room, but the room is still extremely high level, high value. There's some different, focus of individuals, and man, in that room, just as you can attest to, it's all about being a better human being, and it's about being the best version of you. And so we have presentations and speakers that add value on health, right? We have, that give you different business dynamics other than just selling real estate. So that's always a fun event. And then obviously the coaching, man, we've got, like I said, 2 programs. We've got a semi-private coaching right now that runs at about a 16-week. It's a 16-week program. And then our one-on-one coaching, what you and I get to do, the opportunity of working together. And, those are really the opportunities. If anybody wants to check it out, man, they can head over to kinderreesecoaching.com, and there's a video over there that they can check out and get a better understanding of what we do.
Right. And you do a lot of one-on-one coaching, John. So
right. Yeah.
You're working with some of the producers. Talking about some of the events that you guys have done. Like you said, you've got amazing people showing up to the events, like the event in Key West. I mean, we had Brian Carruthers, the amazing team leader, prospector, recruiter, just sharing his information, had nothing to do with real estate, but everything applied to real estate.
Added value.
I mean, you've got people coming in who are just the highest of the high level, who are practitioners of the real estate art, sharing all of their secrets. One thing that I wanted to ask you guys specifically, yourself, Jay Kinder, Mike Reese. You know, when you guys were doing real estate at a really high level, and I mean, it's the highest of the high level. You guys have coaching programs. You've got all of these activities that were going on. When I met you guys were doing the partner program where you were running the ISA call programs and partnering with real estate agents in the Dallas area. You know, so you guys got it figured out. You took a business from zero to what, 2.2 million in GCI in 14 months or 16 months, something like that.
Yep. We did the 2.2. It was that 12-month period. Might have been 16. I think it was that year that you came in for boot camp. We did that year. You know, obviously the end of 15 kind of ramping up to it, but you know, that's obviously understanding the principles and applying it at a high level. And also, you know, when you're doing that, I mean, you got great people around you, and those people around you, one, they're badasses, but two, you know, you've taken the time to get clear on what is success, and you know, making sure that everybody's in their lane to run and thrive. And you know, we did, man. They you know, everybody got in their lane and ran, and that's just it's an awesome feeling when you have the opportunity to work with you know, high caliber people.
So let me ask you this question. You guys took a business from 0 to 2.2 million in 12 months. You guys have some things figured out in real estate, right? What causes you guys to join EXP, to basically shut down the operations that you guys were already running? You got real estate figured out. You guys know how to grow a team. You guys have run a successful team. You guys got coaching business, ISA program. You guys have all this stuff going. And then you made a jump to EXP.
Right.
Which, in fact, you guys did such a good job making a jump to EXP that I laugh about this all the time, that people thought you guys were the owners of EXP because you guys pushed it hard. Everyone thought, oh, Michael Reese, Jay Kinder, you guys owned EXP. It's like, no. Yeah. I mean, talk about that. What, you know, a lot of agents, they get this ego going like, oh, no, I don't need EXP. I can do it better. I can do it faster. I can do it on my own. You know, it's kind of that entrepreneurial, like, well, I'm not joining someone else because they're my competition. I can do this all alone. Some people like you guys who've been in the business for that long, had things figured out. What causes you to make a jump to a company like EXP?
You know, for us, it, you know, and like anything, right, it comes back, you know, what is the goal, right? What is the objective? What is it that we're trying to do? And, you know, the thing, when you look prior to EXP, and we had seen EXP, and, you know, we were really forced to look at it. We didn't have to look at it. We were forced to look at it in a situation with one of our top clients that was about to make the move. And he really pushed it on us to take a look, right? And I mean, obviously, it was Al Stasek, and I'm coaching Al, and we're talking through this situation, and he's just trying to find a solution to his problem. And you know, we talked through it, and I was like, hell yeah, you got to do it. And then you got Jay on the phone, and they talked, and you know, a lot of conversations that figured it out. We ended up, you know, obviously making the move. But when you sit back and you look at it and you even evaluate the opportunity, is when you're crystal freaking clear on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And when you can really crystallize that, and you look back and you have to remove the lens and the ego filter that we all have, right? And it's like you said, control. It's you know, I don't need that. But instead of like getting crystal clear on what the goal is, and then what are all the ways to accomplish it? So in the beginning, it was, you know, the overall BHAG, if you will, right? The top of the mountain was, we wanted to partner with 2,000 people, 2,000 agents across the country, right? Well, we had, you know, 15 here in Dallas, and we were going to grow Dallas out. We were going to have like 30, 35, you know, immediate partners, and obviously everybody that came with them. And when you are crystal clear and committed to that goal, right, to whatever it is, you have to be able to step back and constantly ask, what are all the ways, right? Good strategy, bad strategy. Good strategy is solving the right problem. And so for us, it became a matter of, is this a better solution to help us achieve the level of impact that we're wanting to achieve. And, I think that was at the time, I think we had about 8.5 years left on that BHAG, and making the move to EXP within 2 years, we accomplished the BHAG. So I think that the main lesson for everybody to take away from it was when we evaluated the opportunity, the opportunity had to align to what we were trying to accomplish. And so that's the takeaway for everybody listening in is don't, it's the saying, right? I'm not married to anything but my wife. I know what I want to accomplish, and I'm always looking for the best possible way to get there. And you remove those blinders, right? And Jay Abraham taught us this a long time ago when we started working with Jay back in 2006. He forced us to look outside of the industry. And he said, if you are committed and serious about growth, you will get outside of your industry, get into other masterminds, get into other groups, other connections, and other conversations outside of your industry. He said, because the changes and the breakthroughs come from outside. He said, anybody, if you're masterminding only with people in your industry, it's a plus or minus 10% that they're doing better or worse than you. 10%, that's it. And he said, when you get outside, that number becomes exponential. That's how you have breakthroughs. So like for us, the referral system, falling in love with our clients, lifetime value, right? That was all through him and all through his teachings, and for those of you that don't know Jay Abraham, you guys should pay attention to him. He's got a great podcast. He's been instrumental to a lot of people in the world. Like he's the one responsible for Tony Robbins Business Mastery, and he speaks at Tony Robbins Business Mastery. It would never have happened. It might have happened, but it didn't happen at the level that it did without him. And he's just a fascinating human being, and he's worked in over 430 different industries, right? So the man has some perspective on how to take the blinders off, what he calls funnel vision versus tunnel vision, when you're looking at new ways to optimize, grow, strategize at your business. And honestly, man, there's a couple of factors that get us to this point today. One was the blessing of being in Lawton, Oklahoma at such a lower price point. And the one thing that I didn't get to mention in telling the story in Lawton, Oklahoma, we were number 2 in the market. We were never number 1. There is a monster RE/MAX team, top 10 team so here, hey, how about this for Lawton, Oklahoma? Top 10 RE/MAX team in the world. Number 2 Coldwell Banker team in the world. Same market.
Of 100,000 people.
Yeah, 100,000 people. They did they always did about 200 transactions more than us. So the year that we were number 2, we did 521, 531. They did about 700 and something. So do the math. There were like 3,100 transactions total that year, and just our 2 teams. These are our 2 teams. Did that many, almost half of the transactions. It was it's crazy. It's so crazy. And but that was a blessing, because that made us be on our game every day, right? We were chasing them like every day. How can we, what angle, what can we be doing? What's new, right? Just always looking to innovate, always on our game. And then the average price point was so low in the 120,000 price range that it forces you to pay attention to the details. Because what we've seen on the coaching side, working with top teams all across the country, is that are in higher price points, sometimes they get rewarded for bad behavior, right? They don't have solid foundational business principles, right? They're not optimizing and squeezing the juice out of everything and maximizing profitability. So
they're not punished as much for mistakes. When they make a mistake, the punishment isn't as severe as if you're in that $100,000 price range.
All right. Absolutely, man. And it hurts, right? When you make a mistake and you do those things, you lose some clients. It's, you didn't do what you needed to do to get a deal all the way to all the way to closing. You really pay attention. And so we're fortunate enough for that, to be able to be, here at this point.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk about some of those problems you guys have figured out. And one of the things that we work on together is making that transition for me from being 100% outbound prospecting to more of a marketing-based style of approach to business. And I don't know who said it, but it's definitely a rule that you guys say all the time, but it's not the best real estate agent that wins. It's the best marketed real estate agent that's going to win. And by winning, we're probably talking about transactions, profitability. So, talk about the marketing side of the business, because that's what I really lean heavily on you guys for. And as just kind of as proof to that, I joked about it earlier and I said, if you haven't been caught in a Michael Reese funnel before, you're not real estate or you're not on Facebook. I don't know which one it is, but you guys are really, really heavily focused on how to get marketed and how to become the dominant listing agent, how to be the digital president. Talk about that philosophy and some of the things that you guys are doing. You guys are on Facebook Live all the time. You guys are always interviewing. You guys are always pushing the boundaries as far as getting out there into the marketplace and becoming the go-to person of authority. Touch on that for us, John.
Yeah, preeminent brand, right? You want to be the preeminent brand in your space. And it really falls back on understanding that you as head of company, you're number one, obviously you've got a lot of obligations, drive strategy, focus on profitability, but you're also head of marketing. And, at some point, and this was, the rebirth and transformation for you, right, is becoming a marketing student, right? You don't ever arrive on the marketing side. It's always a constant iteration. There's the principles. And the beautiful thing for us, and I like to share this story because there's a lot of impact that you need to look at and carrying over to your people, is that when I came on board with Kinder in 2004, 2005 was the first year of Craig Proctor's Platinum program, and in fact, I put the check in the mail in November to pay for that year, and it was $20,000. It was a $20,000 $20,000 check. Boom, Craig Proctor Platinum program, very first year, and Kinder was like, book the hotel and get us flights and make sure you got your passport. And I was like, really? Like, man, I just came to work for this guy. And he's like, yep. He's like, you're stepping in as my right hand. You're going to these events with me. And it was just a great lesson. And he's done that to the highest of levels. And it's just one of the lessons that really I take it, I make sure, right? Just like when Keani coming to Mastermind, right? Keani was in Cincinnati with us. It's like, you've got to get your key people to those events. That's the lesson. Super, super important. And always staying a student. And so for us, it's going to the source, right? Working with Jay Abraham, working with Dan Kennedy, working with Frank Kern, right? Understanding everything that Russell Brunson does, being in the war room with Digital Marketer. Like, it's investing in your personal development and growth, and not only the business dynamics, but what do you got to do to become a marketing student? And I think, for us, there's always something marketing wise. I believe the guys are in, they're in Frank Kern's mastermind. That's what they're doing right now, right? They're always in something. You're always working. And for us, it's always in something outside of our industry, right? Like Frank Kern, godfather of the internet marketing, and spending time with him at the highest of levels. They spent days with Dan Kennedy, right? I can't even tell you how many hundreds of thousands of dollars we've spent with Jay Abraham, and just being able to absorb and work with him. We did a great product. I don't even know if have you gone through Strategic Marketing Masters? It was the program that they did with Jay Abraham. Yeah, I got to make sure you get that. It's just unbelievable. So becoming and staying a marketing student, right? And that's, like I said, the transformation and the direction that you've gone. I mean, I saw the book finally arrived. So podcast rolling. I mean, you're doing the things, right? Building the brand, studying, the funnels, figuring out the offer, constantly tweaking and iterating on everything. And it become like the mad scientist trying to figure it out.
Yeah. People ask me about that stuff in, the podcast. How do I get it started, and how do I write the book, and all these things? And you just go about it. You just start doing it. You just figure it out, and it's going to suck at first, and it may continue to suck, but it gets better. I guess what people don't realize, and sometimes I have to step back and think about it, and I take a look. I really want to drive this point home on how much of an influence you guys have had on my life, because taking a look at the actions and the activities that I have been doing now for the last 2 or 3 years since I've met you guys, taking no days off from the gym. That started with Michael Reese. That was on the Daily Accountability when I saw him. That's a private page that, some people who like to work out are on, that we post to daily. That started with him. When I saw he was day number 20 or something like that, I said, oh, no days off. I'm like, I'm going to do that. The book that I wrote, that's because of you. You guys were saying, hey, write a book, become an author to be an authority on real estate in your marketplace. The podcast, the Facebook Lives, the constant putting content out there has all come from you guys. And it was nothing that I ever thought about doing before I ever got in contact with you guys. And so that outside influence, like you're saying, if you're caught in this little bubble, which a lot of real estate agents are in the Reno marketplace, they don't look to the outside world very much for coaching. Once you take a look at what else is going on out there, the same principle of what you were saying, take a look outside your industry, see what people are doing, get some coaching and some training from people outside the industry. I mean, you're going to expand your world, and you guys have really influenced the types of activities that I do on a day in and day out basis, which was funny when I met Kiani, who's kind of your ISA coach, guru, trainer, the guy who you might be in contact with if you are smart enough to take one of the programs you guys put on, which I recommend everyone do. It'll change your game on getting on the phone. But he didn't come from real estate. And when I met Kiani in Dallas, he had a background in selling stock basically over the phone.
Yeah, oil and gas, man. He was man, oil rigs, man. Right.
I mean, he's selling a product over the phone, and this is where I really got my $10,000 worth on the program. All the content was great, but he made this one little shift in my mindset. He was like, Dan, he's like, the pinnacle of your phone call while you're talking to a prospect is setting an appointment, an agreement to meet, to talk about real estate. He's like, when I'm the pinnacle of my phone call in oil and gas, I'm asking for $20, $30, $40, $100,000 over the phone to somebody they've never met. And I'm like, boom. I'm like, whoa. I've never thought about a phone call like that where stockbrokers are asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars over the phone. And here I am nervous to ask for an appointment. And it takes that outside thinking where he's like kind of laughing about that little tweak. He's like, oh, we're just asking for an appointment. We're just asking to meet here. There's nothing to be nervous about here. Like, oh, I get it now. And I had already set appointments and taken expired listings and done all that. But that little mindset shift was awesome.
Priceless. It's priceless, man. It really is. It's just that little shift in perspective. And sometimes it's those things, right? Like if somebody would have tried to articulate that in just a conversation, it might not have landed with you, right? But you had made that substantial investment, left Reno, went to Dallas, hotel, spending 4 days with us. Like you're vested, right? You're paying attention. And that's why getting plugged in, investing in yourself, investing in these programs, because things are going to land a little bit differently than they would in just, conversation and passing.
Right. So I know we're getting ready to wrap up here, but I want to ask a couple more questions really quick. And I don't know if you find this to be true or not, but I seem to find that people who are willing to go out and suffer for fun, and I'm talking about you doing your Ironmans, putting serious miles on your weekends, Sundays, daily, willing to go out there and suffer physically just for basically a hobby. For, it's much more than that. But people who are willing to do that and put in that kind of work are typically people who, when it comes to doing something for business or money, will take it even that much more serious. I mean, the suffering we do is for fun. And then when it comes down to business, those people are gonna be successful.
Yeah.
Hey man, what is going on with your training for your Ironmans? I mean, what you just completed what do they call, ultra marathon? You're out running with a headlamp on.
I had my headlamp on. It was cold, man. The truck froze over by the time I got out there.
Yeah, what's going on with that, man? What causes people to do that kind of stuff?
Here's what's really going on. This is my situation right now. So I've got 6 toenails missing, right? I've got a couple that are like as black can be. I had one that finally, kind of the fluid kind of got out of there today. So man, my toenails are a situation right now. That's what I'm dealing with. But now we've got 2 more Ironman coming up. And one of the lessons, man, I think this is huge. Jesse Itzler shared this with us. We saw him at Content and Commerce. They don't even do it's a digital marketer event. They don't even do that event anymore. And he was the keynote speaker. And if you ever get a chance to see Jesse speak, take advantage of it. He's one of the best speakers from stage, just fascinating human being. And Jesse was talking about one of the biggest mistakes that he made is that once he accomplished something really big, he didn't reset the goal. And that really hung with me. And I did, when I turned 40, I first marathon I ever ran, I turned 40, was New York City Marathon. Did it, obviously kind of to push myself, and the way it worked out, like you can't even imagine how perfect the whole story unfolded. I couldn't get in, had to, go the charity route to run New York City. I'm like, dude, I'm slow. I'm super slow. But I think it's one of those things, right? I can go for a long time. The threshold of pain, you're the same way. And so, but I couldn't get in, not super slow, had to go the charity route, ended up finding a charity that was for cancer. The whole thing that sparked it was I lost my mom when I was 11 to breast cancer, and she was 39 years old. She was less than a month away from her 40th birthday. So year 40 had a lot of meaning. And so I wanted to do something big, and just worked out great. I took my dad, he turned 70 that year. He had never been to New York City. And so it was just a fascinating experience, but I didn't set anything after that, right? I didn't set anything big to be in pursuit past that. And so early last year, actually 2 years ago, so this next month will be 2 years. As Michael Reese does, I get a text message with him for the 10-year anniversary for Ironman Florida. And so I thought about it, went through the process of determining, can I commit to this? What does this mean? And I made the commitment, went all in, trained Ironman Florida. Hurricane Michael came through. So it pushed us to last year. I did my first Ironman last year, Ironman Texas, and then I turned around and did Ironman Florida because that's what I had originally signed up for. And then, I was like, man, this was such a great experience of Ironman Texas. I signed up for Ironman Texas again this year. And the newest Ironman on the track that they're introducing this year is Ironman Oklahoma, and it's in Tulsa. And I was like, I've got to do it. My sister lives in Tulsa. My brother-in-law, who I actually graduated with, and him and my sister have been together forever. He's an amazing guy. And they're my 2 nephews and niece. My kids live halfway in between. My dad, I was like, man, I got to do Oklahoma. So I signed up for those 2. So right now we're training for Ironman Texas and then turning right around and doing Ironman Oklahoma. And then, been talking to my coach, already talking about what's after Ironman Oklahoma, because I don't want to make that mistake again, right? I don't want to make the mistake of accomplishing something and not having the next big target, the big goal set. And it was the same for you and I were talking, right, man? You accomplished the full year, no days off, and it was like, well, what's next? And then you threw that benchmark out there, 1,000. I was like, oh shit, all right.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, last question, John, just to wrap up here. You mentioned you got a coach for your training and for doing Ironman. Like, how important just in life is having a coach and having somebody guide you and direct you? I mean, just what comes to the top of your head when you think of coaching?
Man, you know, what I love about me coaching, but also having a coach, is that our coaches see our blind spots, right? They reveal the things that we can't see. And those that are the closest around us usually can't help us see that at times. And so a coach helps us kind of see what we're maybe not seeing, but then also will help us keep the train on the tracks, right? Because it's going to come off. We get rolling fast. It gets a little wobbly, gets out of whack. Coaches help us kind of center things back, keep our things on there, and then also guide us through the unknown. Like for me, the Ironman, the 3 disciplines, the transitions, and the nutrition, like I was in way over my head. And I needed somebody that could guide me through that process. And I'm on my second coach, and she is she's a certified badass. She's actually a pro. She got her pro status for this year. So having somebody at that level, I don't aspire to get to the pro level. That's like double a commitment of time that I'm already committing. And, but having somebody out there, right, that can kind of help guide me and navigate me through the waters. And she's a runner, and she helped me, get through my first ultra road run that we did a couple months ago. And then she was instrumental in getting me through this 100K trail run that we did about 2 weeks ago.
That's awesome, man. All right. Well, John, thanks for being here. And when it comes down to coaching, I can say for sure, coaching may not make you successful, but if you're going to be successful, coaching will get you there faster. So, John, thanks for coaching with me. I appreciate all the time that you spend with me here. Thanks for being here live today. Anybody has any questions about NAEA? You guys have so many programs. People have to check them out. Like, I consume all of it, and it's all like good. And every time I see a funnel that you guys put out on Facebook, I already know what's coming, and I click on it anyway. And that's how the content is. How do people get a hold of you, John?
The best way is hit me up on Facebook. You can find me there. You can also head over to kinderreescoaching.com. Check out the free video, schedule a clarity call with us. Easy to get in contact with. You can also, I think it's johnkitchens.work right now, is one of the easier ways, but that's, can reach out, and would love to possibly have a conversation.
All right. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. See you this week.